What's up YouTube, it's BigOxx Auto. So as you guys can see, I'm sitting in the Crown Vic right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do the product installation of the Amazon heads-up display unit. So I did have to mess with a few of the settings. Nothing too drastic, so we'll go ahead and go over those here in a few moments. But I am going to go ahead and get you guys over to the installation. As you guys can tell, I'm in the driver's seat of the Crown Vic. So from the driver's seat on most vehicles, diagnostic port either by your left knee or your right knee. Installation is real easy. You have this 16-pin OBD2 diagnostic port connector. And then on the other end, you just have the USB. Now, as you guys can see, the diagnostic port there. Might help if I plug it in the right way. Firm little push. And it's not going to fall out on its own. It might wiggle around a little bit, but it'll only go in one way. All right, so you have the unit here, right in there like so. And as you guys can see, the unit is powering on. I do not have the key in yet. I have the unit up in the windshield now. Still pretty bright out, so I just put a piece of cardboard across the windshield so you can kind of see it. We'll go ahead and turn the key on, and we'll see how it turns on. Now we'll go ahead and start it up. Just ignore the beeps, that's my radar. I guess you guys can see it's done initializing. Give it some gas, check out this RPM. We'll hold 1,000. Now we'll go ahead and go up to 2. And off the gas. Now as you guys can see, there is quite a bit of double image. We'll go ahead and take care of that. I don't have the adhesive pad or the reflective material on there yet. All right, we'll go ahead and do a key off test. Crown Vic has a constantly energized OBD port, so I want to go ahead and test how that's going to handle as far as staying on or turning off. The key is off. The key is out. Looks like it is turning itself off. It is going through its diagnostics and it turned itself back on. All right, so it took about 10 seconds. It did shut itself back off. We'll go ahead and start the car and see about how long it takes to turn back on. All right, so it took about 4 or 5 seconds to turn on, not too bad. Should turn itself back off while I go ahead and mount the adhesive and the reflective material. So as you guys can see, I got the sticky pad and the reflector up there. There's a couple air bubbles in it, but it's not too bad. See, it kind of gets rid of the double vision. It's not great, but there's still a little bit there, and a lot of it has to do with the angle of my windshield. So as you guys can see, the dashboard and the speedometer. It is pretty responsive. Okay, so some of the settings that I did have to mess around with, as you can see, this menu 0 speed 50 to 100, adjustment range 50 to 150%, but it actually goes 50 to 150. The default is 107. I had to change that down to 100%. And the setting number 1, engine speed, I had to change from the default of 117 down to 100. The only reason I changed 0 and 1, the speed and the engine speed, is the engine RPM was a little bit off. When I revved it up to 1,000 RPM, it was registering 1,250. When I revved it up to 2,000 RPM, it was registering 2,500 RPM. And then the vehicle speed, 0 here, I had to change that as well, because when I was going about 20 miles an hour, it was saying 22, and when I hit 45, it was saying I was reading 52 miles per hour. Why the default would be 107 on the speed and 117 on the engine speed, if it's based on a percentage, I am not sure. But I did find setting both of those at 100 was pretty accurate. The setting number 9 fuel switch I set to 1 as the vehicle has a fuel level sensor. The setting number 11 I changed to 0 because this does have a mass airflow meter. And this 15 I thought was kind of curious, the ECU protocol. It says default 0, but when I was cycling through the menu, it set itself to 6. It seems to auto-calibrate the ECU protocol One thing to keep in mind is that when you look at the device, it's going to be upside down in the windshield, but when you have the menu highlighted, you actually pull it out of the windshield and hold it, and it reads right. It actually flips the display for you automatically, so you can do it in hand instead of off the windshield. So here's my complaint. I've been stuck squeegeeing and trying to get this vinyl piece to stick to the windshield for over an hour now. It does not want to stick. You know, it's like, oh yeah, use water, stick it to the windshield. I pulled it off a couple of times. I don't know if you guys can see it, but right there's an air bubble. Down here it doesn't want to stick. It's been like this for about an hour or so, heat gun and everything, and it's not very sticky. What little bit does stick, lint is crazy. Not a very good design for the plastic. And also I got a sticky pad on here. It's to rinse it off again. It does not stick to the dash very well. It doesn't really stick to the unit itself very well. It is pretty sticky, as you guys can see. It's mainly just there to kind of keep it from sliding around the dash. It gets dirty really quick. I cleaned the dash right before I put it on there, and as you guys can see, there's a bunch of stuff. But the good news is you just peel it off and rinse it off with some warm water, and it's good as new. Doesn't really get rid of the stickiness, but it's not a very nice pad. So cheap pad, cheap reflective mount. So as you guys can see, I'm having a little bit of a problem getting this thing to stick. Most of it's due to the weather. Being that it's cold, the water's not evaporating. I would try using the defrost, but last time I did that, the first time I was putting it on, it got a bunch of lint in there. So it's gonna have a couple blisters here and there. All right, so as you guys can tell, it's snowing, it's cold. It's like 25 degrees, give or take. So it's taking a little bit longer than expected just to get the plastic to adhere to the windshield due to the water. I'm gonna try to run the heat and a heat gun from the outside, see if I can get it to mount a little bit better, and then hopefully I can get you guys the actual driving video and footage of the actual unit working. So just bear with me a little bit. I wasn't planning on doing a two-part video. I was kind of planning on doing it all in one, a install plus the review, but as it stands right now, with it currently snowing and being cold, I'm gonna have to go ahead and just get something to you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and upload the install, and then here in a day or two, hopefully when it warms up, I will get you guys the review of the unit in action. Sorry about the delay. Hope you guys enjoy. We'll get the other video up to you guys hopefully here in a couple of days when the weather chills out. So again, hope you guys liked the video. See you guys around.